Hi there, this is the first in a series of YouTube videos about beginning harmonica. I felt to do this little series because harmonicas are quite a strange thing. They're not a normal instrument in many respects. They originally were developed as more of a toy. The problem is with harmonicas is that there are so many different varieties available, different shapes and sizes, different price points, different materials and finishes, and the real problem is that people, they hear something really cool on the TV or the radio or a song in the charts, and they think, oh great, I'll go and buy a harmonica. Well, the problem is that they will probably end up buying completely the wrong instrument. So the point here is just to give the viewers an outline of what harmonicas are really all about, where to go to start off, and to find your way with it, and to find an instrument that's going to work for you without breaking the bank. That is often a very big issue. People like to buy harmonicas as gifts, and they generally choose the most expensive thing in the shop to prove their generosity, and unfortunately it's usually the most inappropriate thing for what the person wants to do. So starting off with the harmonica, basically it's defined as what they call a free reed instrument, which is effectively, if I show you one I prepared earlier, if we can see a little bit closely there, you can see it's an instrument that's got a bunch of reeds in it. You've got little holes for blowing into. That's essentially how the harmonica is constructed. Now, what you get, I'll revert to an actual working instrument. This is a Hohner Marine Band Deluxe in the key of C. I've got my nice little luminous label there. You'll often see people when they make videos about harmonicas, they'll put the harmonica to the screen with the key. Now the reason they do that is quite simple. You want to know what the harmonica is. It may be how it's tuned, it may be what sort of style of music you're playing, and it tells you the key of the music you're going to be playing in. Now the actual with the standard, what we call a Richter harmonica, the Richter refers to the tuning. What it is, quite simply, you have 10 holes. Now on your first 4 holes you have a blow, which you obviously blow into, and then you have 4 holes, same 4 holes you can draw or suck, and that will give you a draw note. On the C harmonica, those notes are the chord of C and the chord of G. Now when you go further up the instrument, you go from holes 4, 5, 6 and 7. So you've got the major scale. So the way this instrument was designed originally was for playing Bavarian folk music, made in Germany originally. They think it was either a gentleman called by the name of Bushman. Certainly the Richter was the gentleman who devised this tuning. And the idea is very simply play oompa music. And sorry, it's not very exciting, but sort of. So very square, very boring German music. So that's really what they were initially designed for, and they sold many harmonicas over the years. And this particular instrument is in the key of C. They are available in every key, and not only every key, so there's all 12 pitches. It's a diatonic instrument, so you can get C, you can get D flat, you can get D, you can get E flat, E, and so on. It goes all the way through. C is the most commonly used. It's the most commonly used for practicing with, because it is in the middle of the range. So it's not too high, it's not too low, and it's a nice easy instrument to get to grips with initially. You'll find all the music books start off in the key of C. So if we're going to give one piece of advice to start off with, we always buy a harmonica in the key of C. You'll also find C harmonicas, you can get them very inexpensively because they are the most common one. So C harmonica, with regard to your price points, you're looking at somewhere in the region of let's say around about £20–25 UK, which will give you a decent instrument, not a lot of money. It will be very playable. It will take you forward all the way through to intermediate, even professional playing. There are some major harmonica players who play the cheapest of harmonicas, and they do extremely well with them. So yeah, reasonable price, 20-25 quid, maybe 30 quid. That will give you a good quality instrument to start off with. Now, what you have when you have the construction of a harmonica, this is the marine band. So it was originally manufactured in wood. So this is a pear wood, what we call a comb. And the idea behind that is it's basically, obviously in the 1800s, very easy to mill a wooden comb. So this is what they were made of. What they didn't do, they didn't tend to make them watertight. So people, when you play the harmonica, it's a bit spitty and horrible. So basically, they sort of like the combs would swell, and you'd end up with an instrument that wouldn't last forever. However, you've got nowadays you have what they call plastic combed instruments. This has got a plastic comb. This is a Lee Oscar, again in the key of C. That's a great instrument, really easy to play. Out the box, they play wonderfully. You don't have to do any sort of tweaking or repairing or do anything with them. They're a very competitive, £29 I think, but very good instrument. Now, that's the boring side of it. The thing with harmonicas is that you don't want to hear them for music, and you don't want to know that it plays do, re, mi, fa, so halfway up the harmonica. What you're probably looking for, and what probably turned you onto the whole thing, is blues, country, rock, any of those things. That's where the harmonica is a lot of fun. Now, what happened is the instrument that was literally made to play novelty tunes went across the pond, went to America, and they discovered that if you play your draw note, which is your G, and your blow note as a C, in the key of G, you're playing your first and your fourth. Now, when you were playing oompa music, you're playing in the key of C, your first and your fifth. Very square, very boring. Turn it around, and the poor people, should we say, in the United States figured out that actually you've got a fantastic thing where you can go. So basically it plays instantly, plays a shuffle. So whether or not the music was actually came from that, or whether the instrument just fitted it, nobody knows. It's a mystery. Same with slide guitar, same with so many things in that style of music. What actually made that style of music? Was it the instruments who formed the music, or was it the music that the instruments fitted? We don't know. But the great thing is that you've got another advantage with this. You've got that chugga chugga. Now, when you draw on the harmonica, what happens is that when you suck, certain notes you can bend. So you've got the sort of train sounds you can make. So again, you've got that whole sort of like that blues thing. You've got country, you've got rock, you've got what they call Zydeco music, which is like a form of Louisiana, very soulful music. That's what people usually want to play when they pick up one of these things. So just to recap, we're talking about an instrument that's going to be around about 20, 25, 30 pounds. Then you've got, quite simply, you've got your key of C. You start with that. And then you will move on and you will get different keys. There's an E flat. I've got a whole case of them, which is basically this little lot here. So I've got harmonica for every key, and extras should I need to use them. That is kind of going out a little bit further than we need to. We don't need to know about that just yet. But what we want to do, if we're looking for a harmonica, good brands to go for: Tombow Lee Oscar, Hohner. They make some wonderful harmonicas. I'd recommend their model called the Special 20, and the reason is because it's a plastic comb harmonica, so you won't get swelling. It'll give you a good chance to sort of, learning your playing. There's going to be a bit of spit involved, and it gets a little bit sort of messy. So that's going to be a good one to start off with. 30 quid. You know, you're going to get a really great instrument. Some manufacturers that we know of, East Top is a Chinese manufacturer. There's another one called Kongsheng, which obviously is a Chinese manufacturer, but they're producing cheap products, you know, which are absolutely phenomenal. Kongsheng, I've got one or two sat around in here. So they do some nice harmonicas. Green comb, which is very cute. So very playable instrument. I think they're actually on offer about £15. But what I'm trying to say is that you're really not looking at a major amount of money to do this. You can start off one harmonica, get yourself a book. One book I recommend is Harmonica for Dummies. Online tutors. There is a gentleman by the name of Liam Ward. He's an English guy. He lives in the Cotswolds, and his website is called learntheharmonica.com. Then you've got a guy called Adam Gusso, who's based in the US, and he lives in Mississippi. Very authentic, very, very cool harmonica player. He's been actually on YouTube for probably almost since YouTube started, which is coming on for 20 years. So you've got some really good resources which are free. My reason for this video to start off with is to sort of help you avoid the pit holes of what you could likely end up doing, spending a lot of money on a wonderful harmonica. I mean, this is a chromatic harmonica. I think these are now, I haven't looked recently, but possibly around about £400. Now, a particularly generous benefactor or parent or whatever may want to buy one of these, and you're looking for playing the blues. Got a button on it, it plays different pitches. It's not the same thing. You can't play blues on that. So, you know, if you want to play blues, £400 versus £30, your novice player is going to thank you so much more for the £30 harmonica. As we're going to go on this particular series of videos, we'll talk about the different keys. We'll talk about sort of playing what we call acoustically, which is where you've got no amplification. You're not being in any way, the sound isn't going to be altered at all. You're not going through a PA system. So we'll talk about acoustically with various things like, you know, technique-wise, hand-wise, and the trills, and wailing. So there's lots of things you can do and lots of things we can be going on with, but this is kind of an initial taster. I hope it's of interest, and I hope it's going to save people a few quid rather than buying a harmonica that they don't need. Anyway, 12 minutes, quite enough. I'll come back with another video very soon. Thanks for watching.